What is up, everybody? Jay Nell here with the recap of two events, so I'm going to dive right into it. UFC Ultimate Fighter 17 finale just came on, and it was a really good event. I'm only going to do 3 fights. I'm going to start off with the actual Ultimate Fighter winner. Split decision in favor of Kelvin Gastelum. It was Kelvin Gastelum against Uriah Hall. This fight went all 3 rounds. It was close to second and third. Kelvin just outworked him. He just outworked Uriah. In that first round, I don't know if it was the pressure, I don't know, Uriah barely threw a punch. He had his hands down. Kelvin was able to take him down to the ground and land some shots standing. He didn't do any damage at all. Let me just say that. No damage. And when Uriah finally did start fighting in the second and third rounds, he did lots of damage. The few shots he did throw landed hard, but it was just a little too late. He shouldn't have let Kelvin get that first round. He just got outworked. Simple as that. They're both going to be in the UFC, and I think they're both going to do well. Kelvin's only 21 years old, so he's got a lot of improvement. And Uriah, I don't think he's going to make that mistake again. Next up, main event was Uriah Faber versus Scott Jorgensen. Now, this fight was good. Scott was able to land some big shots in the beginning. Uriah landed a really good knee in the beginning. When he went down to the ground, I believe Uriah Faber was just a little bit too strong for him. He was able to hold that top position. Fourth round, Uriah was going for submissions throughout this entire fight. He finally got a rear naked in the 4th round, submitted Scott Jorgensen. In his last 2 fights, Uriah Faber has looked pretty darn good. And in the press conference afterwards, him and Dana White basically both said he's going to get a title shot with either Barao or Dominic. If Dominic's ready, I don't know which one he's going to get. Let me know who you want to see Uriah Faber fight next. A lot of people say he gets too many title shots, but he beats everybody else. So if you beat everybody else but the champion, then who are you supposed to fight? You're supposed to keep trying to fight the champion, right? Right. Who do you want to see Uriah fight next? Now, this isn't the main event, but I'm doing this fight last on purpose. Miesha Tate versus Cris Cyborg. For the winner gets to fight Ronda Rousey and be the coach on the next Ultimate Fighter. This fight was fight of the night, and it deserved it. If it was 2 men, they would have deserved it. It was great. From minute 1, these 2 girls came out swinging. Kat was trying to land these flying knees the entire fight. This was mostly a wrestling match, though. It was pretty much all on the ground between both of them. That first round going back and forth. When each girl got on top, they did damage. Elbows, punches with nasty intent. They were trying to finish this fight. This was a very active wrestling match. In the second round, I would say Miesha Tate started to get the upper hand. She definitely was on top more, started to do some real damage. Both girls were busted up. Both girls. Third round, again, I think Miesha got the second round, and I think Cris Cyborg thought the same thing because she came out blazing. She got her second win in this third round. She came out blazing, but managed to get the top position on the ground. Couldn't really hold her there. So as Miesha Tate was standing up, in the process of standing up, she kneed her in the face, clean, dropped her back to her knees buckled. There is some controversy as whether or not her hand was still on the ground when she caught that first knee. I have not seen the Twitter picture. Apparently there's a picture, so I'm not going to comment because I have not seen a picture. So there you go. I know right after she got up, she caught 3 more knees. Kat kneed her ass from the center of the octagon all the way to the fence. And then when she got her up against the fence, the last knee stood her up against the fence, and then she threw an elbow that caught all face. And her knees buckled again. This was the second time. Buckled again. And then the ref stopped the fight. Now, Miesha Tate is complaining. She's mad. She's saying that this was an early stoppage. You watch the fight and you tell me what you think about whether the first knee was legal, whether or not this was an early stoppage. She says she was going for the takedown, and her arms were out, I think on pure instinct alone, but she didn't lunge forward. Her knees buckled and she dropped straight down from an elbow. She didn't go forward. So you tell me what you think. I ended with the ladies on purpose because that was a great fight. And the next event I'm doing is Invicta Fighting Championship 5. This happened about 2 weeks ago, but you can still get it. It's like $9, and it was great. Please find it. The women are here. I'm only going to do 3 fights. Now, Sarah Kaufman, whose name you've heard before, she is signed with the UFC. A couple of these ladies fighting in this organization are with the UFC. Sarah Kaufman fought Leslie Smith. Decision in favor of Sarah Kaufman. I think she might have got this decision on her name. This fight was back and forth. Leslie Smith, she does not gas. This girl is on a level, she's like the Demetrius Johnson or something. Her level, and she was throwing everything at her from every position. Even Sarah Kaufman was bigger, a little bit stronger, so when she got on the ground, sometimes she was on top. Leslie was still fighting. She was hitting her anywhere she could hit her on the knees. She just outworked her, in my opinion. she outworked her, which is why I don't think Sarah Kaufman should have got that decision. However, the fight was close, so you never leave the fight in the hands of the judges. Next up, Cris Cyborg back against Fiona Moxlow. That girl is tough. Fiona is tough because she took an ass whooping like I have not seen in a long time. Cris Cyborg hits like a man. You hear her punches like you hear JDS's. Oh my goodness. Let me say, I think she is off the juice. If you see her face, a lot of the femininity came back. Her body was a lot more feminine, smaller, still cut up, still arms like detachable arms. She mollywopped this girl. This girl, I think, hit her maybe twice. And she did hit her. She did hit Cris maybe twice. Cris Cyborg is under the care of the management of Tito Ortiz, and the care, actually. He's caring for her, managing her body and her soul and her mind. He ripped her out of a very bad situation. So he was there with her. And she just went off on this girl. This girl's face was taco meat. This fight ended in the first round. The ref stopped it due to strikes. And it was a good stop, too. She probably saved this girl's career. Cris Cyborg is now in line. She gets a title shot for the featherweight title for the women's, for Invicta Fighting Championship. Now, main event. This was the atomweight championship. That's 105 pounds. We had the champion Jessica Penne versus, let me look at my time. All right, Michelle Larson. This was the best grappling match I've seen in like a year, 2 years. Best grappling match I've seen. Oh my goodness, these girls were all over the octagon. On the ground. I'm talking reversal after reversal, submission attempt after submission attempt, going for a submission attempt just to reverse and get the upper hand, ground and pound. Jessica's a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger than Michelle. So when she got in the top position, she started landing some elbows and really with the ground and pound. But Michelle's so slippery and so flexible. At one point, she did a whole 360 spin on her back, and Jessica stayed with her ass and did the whole 360. Oh my goodness, you have to watch this. This was the best grappling match I've seen in so long. This ended in the fourth round. The third round, Jessica Penne started to get the upper hand. She held that top position for a long time and actually did some damage. Fourth round, she got on top again, started to do some damage. Then out of nowhere, Michelle slaps an armbar off her back and taps her in seconds. It came from nowhere. No one saw this. Jessica was in a half guard. Her leg slipped through a hole so small no one saw it. The announcers went off. Even Jessica herself didn't see it. After the fight, she just sat there on her knees pissed. She was pissed that she got caught. No one saw it coming. This girl slapped this armbar off her back. She was on her shoulders and her back so quick. Jessica was on her knees, arm extended. Michelle off her back, armbar. Fourth round came from nowhere. Best grappling match I've seen in like a year or two. You got to check this out. If you're a fan of MMA, you got to be a fan of women's MMA. They do everything that the men do, plus they're a lot more flexible. So you see positions on the ground that you just don't see with men. You're like, whose leg is that? You're like, why isn't her arm broken? It should be broken by now, but she's not tapping. It's crazy. You get knockouts, submissions, kicks, ground, standing, everything. Got to give him a shot. Give him a chance. All right, everybody. Take care and goodbye.